Let's have a quick little chat about doing some marketing branding services in addition to doing the normal author stuff. The author stuff is a lot of fun and I enjoy it as an activity to do. On the other hand, the business of doing the business is super important. And what's happening is if you produce your content and then you properly edit your content and then you fail to market it and fail to produce your brand, you're going to end up shouting into the breeze. Unless you've got effective marketing and branding put together for your business, you're screaming in the vacuum. Because these are skills that I've also done and honed over prior jobs and prior work experience and prior businesses, it's not too terribly alien to me to do these things. The reason that having marketing and branding pulled together for our project is because we effectively need to hit two different kinds of marketing. Your first kind of marketing is like conversion-based marketing. If we want to eat today, we need to do conversion marketing today because the conversion today turns into the sale for today. We eat off of the sale. The branded marketing is the building the brand and putting the name out there so that the world sees, knows, and understands who we are. The highest close rate that we're going to run into is going to be on a hot lead being defined as somebody who knows who we are, knows what we do, and is interested in acquiring our service. If we knew the guy that lives 2 doors down, works for XYZ AC company, and we like that guy who lives next door to us, we call him and say, hey, please send over my neighbor to do work on my AC system, and please give me a discount because he has to go 50 feet down the road to come work on my AC. And the reason that we're interested in doing that is because we know who he is, we know what his service is, and we know and trust him. That's the definition of a hot lead. The process of creating and building, boosting our brand is the creation of more people as hot leads for our business. As we are putting together our marketing and branding services, I am in the process of utilizing multiple different types of marketing, multiple different types of branding. And these are things that I'm likely going to start offering in conjunction to the fun process of writing. If I produce a 10 to 15 second video designed to support a specific web page, designed to support a specific book, designed to support a specific work, is it too far of a reach to guess that Doug is going to be able to produce that same kind of quality video for somebody else's material? It's probably pretty close, pretty reasonable. I suspect that as we work through this marketing and branding arc of services, what we're going to see is we're going to see a nice array starting from relatively small products and services going into the larger. And I don't exactly want to turn into a promotional video, but I suspect this is going to be one of those things that sort of pays the bills while the fun stuff gets put out in conjunction with using the skills, using the pieces and parts that we're putting into effect. I can also do video editing. Obviously, I'm putting together, producing, captioning, assembling videos and putting them out so that we can have that content. We're also doing LinkedIn articles and articles on X.com or Twitter or whatever the hell it's called now. And the reason those articles are super important is because the articles speak to specific questions and answers. Today, that's not particularly super important. SEO is still super important. But with the emergence of generative AI, we need to have those questions answered through articles, through positioning ourselves and making sure that we're having those conversations so that the AI understands who we are, what we do, and what questions we're answering. And then when somebody searches that in the future, we are a reliable source and the AI can recommend us as somebody who's a good fellow. One of the other tools I'm using is pay-per-click advertising. And the reason I'm using pay-per-click advertising is because I'm personally really good at it and I can get good results. And how those are measured is based upon the costs that we can put people into your orbit. For example, if you're selling a service that's $800 and I could put somebody into your orbit for $10 and half of those people decide to accept your offer, that means that 2 people are required for 1 invoice. If it costs you $20, how many times you can take $20 so that you can buy 800? It's basically as many $20 bills as you can find, And then you're going to take out a loan so you can get more $20 bills, because if you know that every $20 bill you put through the system, you're getting 800 back, that's really easy math. And the reason that's so important is because that's the marketing side of the equation. When we're putting together our marketing and branding business, our marketing and branding functions, it's the pay-per-click and the immediate closes that are going to be super important, because if we fail to have that in place, we're going to suffer today for tomorrow that might not come. We need to make sure that we balance the income today versus the growth of our business tomorrow. I've discussed in the past that one of the other things that we do is we want to put together credibility building books. How this ties together is, hey, we have this great free short video we can use to promote your business. Okay, great. Let's get you some advertising stuff too. Excellent. Now we're doing a chunk of money a year. Say we're making $200,000 a year. Let's put a mid-sized product into your hands because you've got the credibility, you've got the experience, and you've got the need. We're ethically putting something into your hand that, while it costs money, if you're making $200,000 a year in profit and you can boost your close rate by 50%, now all of a sudden that $200,000 a year turns into $300,000 a year. How often will you trade a $5 bill for a $100 bill? Again, easy math. You find as many $5 bills as you can possibly get your hands on, and then you take out a loan for more $5 bills. When the systems are approved, it's pretty easy to commit to doing more of what is already successful. Ultimately, what I like to do is I think that we're going to end up producing email and marketing products for people so we can help boost other people's businesses, because this is stuff I already do. And if I can do this work and help other people do well with their work, we can grow and have more fun with our own writing hobby. I don't know if we're going to be doing a business launch conversation now or in the future, but I suspect we might need to do things, figure out and assemble like launch kits for people announcing their business, maybe bundled social media contracts where we'll put out XYZ amounts of social media relevant to the content we're putting together for both your website and for your email newsletter. Maybe we're gonna have to consider helping people assemble their like funnel assets, like the reward for signing up. I'm not particularly a fan of that, because a lot of times what I've seen, a lot of bot interactions on forums because nefarious people trying to automate the sales of their own products into somebody else's business. And it's, for me, when I have paid on advertising and somebody decides that they want to charge me money so that they can make their sales pitch, that never really struck me as somebody I wanted to do business with, because you've already cost me money. Why am I paying money to pick up effectively your phone call? It's like calling collect back in the old days. I don't like it when people do that to me. I suspect the next thing that we're going to want to do is we're going to want to put ourselves into a position where we have the skills and the knowledge and the wherewithal to be able to produce chatbots that help our visiting customers who have found us through pay-per-click or found us through organic or through generative AI. We take those customers who found us, made their way to our website, and we let a substantially powerful chatbot help our customer work their way through our site and analyze our site, analyze our materials, and help discuss with our customer what results we're looking for. And then eventually, by the way, what's your name? What's your email? Let's send you more information. Now all of a sudden you've got an email capture through a chatbot. Because a chatbot is substantially more complicated than a generic form fill with the labels and the SEO pieces telling the SEO that this is a form, hey, internet browsing chatbot, come fill in my form and waste my money. I think that having the chatbot might be a better option to remove some of the spam and less than savory characters from automatically filling in our forms. I think that might help a lot. And then basically all that is our low tier services, our low cost services, our entry tier stuff. I suspect we're going to be interested in doing things that are mid four figure as add-on. Realistically, we wouldn't want to pull people into the system where we're making these kinds of offers who can't afford it. Someone asked me the other day about authors and why I wouldn't want to work with other authors. Frankly, because most people publish one book and your chances of making $100 on your first book is really small. It would be an unethical sales option for me to ask someone who has a high likelihood of making only $100 in the lifetime of their book. It would be unethical for me to ask that person, hey, spend $4,000 or whatever service we're looking for so that you can make 100. That's not a good offer. That's not an ethical offer for me to make. Whereas if we have somebody who's in a legitimate, serious sales position, this is an experienced, a veteran seller, a broker for real estate, say, those are probably people we need to talk to, because as you enter that kind of higher level real estate conversation, you're going to have conversations with different kinds of people, and those kinds of people are going to have more intelligent money conversations. And one of the things that broker is going to be able to do by the nature of their position is have that conversation about investing multiple people with certain products and assembling larger deals. So if we present an email education course for someone, and let's pretend that they continue down the real estate broker track, and say that this real estate broker is putting together a deal and it's a $10 million deal. Finding a $10 million customer is possible. Finding 20 customers with $500,000 gets you where you need to go, and it's a much lower threshold. A real estate broker can organize that kind of investment deal. It can set up that kind of corporation stuff. And there's issues if you're doing public traded and stuff like that, so you got to be careful with how you're setting that kind of stuff up. But a broker will be able to have those conversations, be able to make those introductions by the nature of their profession. I suspect that a broker would find an educational email course where we're talking about, this is how we can invest in real estate. These are the kind of cool things we can do with real estate. These are the various forms and functions of business investments that we can do through real estate. Because you're in a broker position, you've got the credibility, you've got the education, you've got the certification, you've got the connections to be able to have that conversation, and you've got the income which justifies the larger branded expenditure on your brand. Again, I don't think it would be ethical for me to talk to somebody who's looking to publish their first book. Me asking somebody who's looking at making $100 maybe on their first book and saying, yeah, give me $4,000 for XYZ service. It's probably not an ethical solution. Whereas if we have a broker who's standing to make 3% on a $10 million sale, now all of a sudden you've got a very different conversation happening, because 3% commission on a $10 million sale, that's a lot of money. That's a $300,000 commission. Granted, it's going to change based upon where you are, etc. But if we're doing 3% of 10 million for a broker, and the broker is pulling a $300,000 commission for doing a commercial sale for a large $10 million property, and he puts 20 of his friends, 10 or 20 or however many of his friends into this deal together, and however they structure the deal, you have a very different kind of conversation going. Now all of a sudden that broker expending $3,000 to assemble an email system where they're sending out education-based emails, and this is the kind of real estate investment organizations that we can help you produce and help you participate in, that's a different kind of conversation. It's an ethical sale, and it's a very profitable sale for everybody involved. I suspect that the skills that we've honed building our own brand are very fungible into other functions. I've gone a little bit longer than I would like, but I think we can have some fun with that. We're going to close out for now and consider this more for later. You have a great weekend.